Hello, budget bakers. We are back in the kitchen again today with a delicious treat. You know, the holidays are coming up, and this is absolutely perfect for the holidays. I make it every Christmas. So some of you may know this recipe as Christmas crack, but I call the recipe Skore Bars because that's how it was given to me. I first had this recipe many years ago. My neighbor had made it, and I was like, I have to have that recipe, and it was given to me. So the difference is my recipe uses graham crackers as the base. But if you've ever had Christmas crack, typically that is made with saltine crackers. But that's why my recipe is a little bit different. So without further ado, let's get started. It definitely is a budget recipe, and let me tell you why. If I am actually going to use nuts, but nuts are optional. Without the nuts, it's about $5.50 to make. And if you get your ingredients on sale, it could be even less than that. So here's what we've got. We've got a sleeve of graham crackers. I did bring out two because the pan that I'm using today is a little bit bigger than the one that I was using when I wrote down the recipe. I don't want to say created because I didn't create it, but when I wrote it down, because I've got new pans now and they're bigger. So anyway, I wasn't sure if I was going to just need one sleeve or more. So we've got graham crackers, we've got chocolate chips, salted butter, brown sugar, and I'm using walnuts. You can use slivered almonds or any type of nut that you like that you want to chop, or you don't have to use nuts at all. Typically, I'm not a fan of using nuts in my recipes, but I'm gonna roll with it. I'm gonna use some nuts today. So before we get going, we preheat the oven to 350 degrees, which I have already done for us. So it will be ready and waiting for me. And let's start by lining the pan with the graham crackers. So you just want one layer of graham crackers. So I've got my pan and I've got it lined with parchment paper. So let's open this up. And sometimes you have to break the graham crackers to make it fit, but like I said, this is a bigger pan than I'm used to using. But I love these pans. So I'm actually not going to go edge to edge because the pan is so much bigger than what I'm used to. And I don't want to have to alter the recipe. So this is what we're doing. And we're going to go with 2 sleeves for sure. Okay, so you want them touching. You can see what I'm doing. Okay. Oh, I forgot my garbage bag. You know, guys, I always have like a little plastic bag, like a little grocery store bag that I hang from my cabinet so that I can put all my garbage in it while I'm standing here. And I forgot to get it today, but that's okay. We're just gonna roll with it. All right, some of these are broken, but like I said, it's no big deal. I am gonna push, actually, that looks about the size of my old pan. Oh, oven's ready. So I'm wondering if I should just put one more row. No, I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna go with my gut and I'm gonna leave it because this pan is a lot larger than my old one, like I said. So we're gonna roll with that. Okay. That was first things first. Second, I'm gonna go ahead and I am going to chop up some nuts. Now, these are walnut halves and pieces. So I'm gonna go, I guess we're gonna go with about a heaping fourth of a cup. Might be a little bit more. But I'm just gonna go ahead and get those chopped up so that they're ready for me when I need them. I don't wanna need them and then have to chop them. So let's just do some super fast chopping here. So like I said, guys, I make this recipe every Christmas. And I make it other times as well, but it's a staple for Christmas because my family really loves it. Everybody really loves it, if I'm being honest. And it's more of like a candy than a cookie, if I had to categorize it as something. So yeah, I guess let's call it candy. Okay, so this is good. You can chop these up as small as you want. You know, I don't want any like big chunks personally. That's just me. All right, so now I'm just gonna set that aside until we need it. All right, so we lined our sheet. I am still going over this in my mind, like, should I add another row? Because when I pour the melted butter on there, they're gonna move. So you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna add another row, just down this way. Perfect. Okay, I feel better now. All right, so next what we're gonna do is we're gonna melt our butter and sugar. I've got a large Pyrex right here. Make sure that you can see everything that I'm doing. Yeah, you can see that. So I've got 2 sticks of butter. So this is salted butter because I always use salted butter when I bake. If you've watched any of my prior videos, you've heard me say that before. And I think it just adds a nicer flavor because baked goods are sweet. So the salt helps. Okay. So this calls for 1 cup, 1 cup of butter, yep, which is 2 sticks. 1 stick is a half a cup. So we're gonna put that in here, and then we are gonna put in our brown sugar, which is also 1 cup. Yep, 1 cup, and it is packed brown sugar. All right, that's good. 1 cup, we can put that in there. Okay, I'm gonna pop this in the microwave, and I'm gonna pop it in there for about 30 seconds. If you guys can see, I've got my crock pot here. I'm making chicken noodle vegetable soup today for dinner. So it's going in the crock pot, and I have to say, it's smelling pretty good in here. All right. Get this moved over. So I'm gonna grab a spoon and give this a little stir after 30 seconds, although I suspect I'm gonna have to put it back in for longer. But you know what? I'd rather pop it in a couple of times than leave it in there too long and it bubble over and make a mess. Yeah, definitely. I'll bring it over so you guys can see it. So it's just, see, the butter is just a little bit pliable at least, but it's not melted yet. So let's get that put back in for another 30 seconds. All right. Hey, if you guys have ever made Christmas crack or Skore Bars or anything similar to this recipe before, and you have little tips and tricks or certain ideas, certain ways that you like to make it, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Because everybody does things just a little bit differently. All right, let's see what we've got. All right, it's starting to melt. You can see that. Let's give it a good stir. Oh, that's looking good. Ooh, that is, see that? That was looking good. There's still some chunks of butter in here, so I think I'm gonna pop it back in. Maybe just for like another 20 seconds. Let's see. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but it's beautiful outside today, so I've got the windows open, and one of the neighbors' children are outside playing, and I can hear them yelling. Hopefully you can't, but I can. But you know what? I've always said, I'd rather hear the kids outside having a good time and know that they're safe than for them to be somewhere else, maybe doing something they're not supposed to be doing. I've always said that. All right, let's see. This is going to do the trick. Great. All right. I put my spoon in my cup. We're going to give it a good stir because you want to make sure it's going to separate. So you want to make sure you stir it up so that it's combined the best as possible. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pour this over the crackers. Then we bake it. Yes, this is not a no-bake recipe. Oh, that's looking good. You guys can probably see that. Great. All right, I just want to make sure it's mixed as best as possible because it separates, like I said. All right, so we're going to spread this over our crackers. I'm going to actually spoon it over this way because otherwise all the butter is going to pour out because it's, like I said, it separates. So I'm just going to spoon it over. Oh, man. That smells so good. Butter and brown sugar. Yummy. This is also great to give, like, as a gift from the kitchen. For, like, a holiday gift or even a birthday gift if it's somebody's favorite. It's a really good recipe to make to give. Because what happens is after we bake it and we melt our chocolate and we do all these things, it has to cool in the refrigerator and then you break it apart like a bark. Like a, like a chocolate bark. All right. Now I like to make sure I've got everything covered. I want every cracker covered because I don't want anybody to miss out on this goodness when it's time to eat these. So, it might take, a few extra seconds or whatever just to make sure everything is coated, but it is definitely worth it. Trust me, friends. And if you usually make this and you make it with saltine crackers, I would love for you to give this a try and let me know what you think. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pop this in the oven. It's going to bake at 350 for 8 to 10 minutes until it's bubbly. It's just going to depend on your oven. I would check it after 8 minutes, and if it doesn't look fully baked, still watery like this, I'd pop it in for another 2 or 3 minutes. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get this in the oven, and then I'll be back. All right, well, we're back. My Skore bars have baked. I put them on for 10 minutes, and then I wasn't 100% happy with the way that they looked, so I put it back in for like 3 more minutes, and now it's bubbly. It's good and it's bubbly. So this is what we're gonna do. This is pretty simple. So it's hot. I just took it out of the oven, hence the oven mitt. And we are going to sprinkle the chocolate chips, a bag of chocolate chips. This is semi-sweet. You can use semi-sweet, you can use milk. You can mix them together, which is usually what I do. But today we're going with semi-sweet. And you're going to just sprinkle it over the top as evenly as possible. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. And you'll notice that the chips are going to start melting pretty fast, which is good. That's what we want. Because I've got a spatula spreader here. The technical term for it just flew out of my head. And we're going to use that to spread these out and to spread it over the top. You'll see. Give me just a minute. All right. So you do want to cover it, but you want to kind of do it neatly because when we go to spread it out, we don't want a problem. We don't want any problems. All right. Lovely. Perfect. Okay. All right. Here we go. Offset spatula. See, I knew it would come back to me. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start lightly spreading these chips out because they are starting to melt, like I said, which is what we want. Because, see, you just want to spread that evenly over the entire thing. And it's gonna take a couple of minutes, but that's okay. You could melt them like in the micro and spread them on, but it really doesn't make any sense to do it like that because this just came out of the oven, so it's super hot. And so if you just take a couple of minutes, you can spread it on. See? I know you guys can see that. See how it's spreading real nice? All right. And again, edge to edge. We don't want anybody missing out when it's time to eat these. We want everybody to get all the goodness in every bite. All right. See, that looks good. It's all melted and spread out. Now what we do is we take this and we put it in the fridge and we have to let it set. If you're using nuts, now's the time to put them on. So let's go ahead and do that. Sprinkle those over the, oh, this smells divine. It smells so good. Just the butter with the brown sugar. Holy cannoli. It smells good. All right. And like I said, you don't have to use nuts. My husband likes nuts on this dessert, so put nuts on it. I can go either way. All right, very good. All right, guys. So now we put this in the fridge. We let it set. I'll let you know exactly how long it takes because you want it solid. You don't want it warm. You want it cooled thoroughly through and through because what you're going to do is you can cut it or break it depending on the texture after it cools. All right, so we'll be back for that. All right, I am back and I have our finished product, our finished Skore Bars. I left them in the fridge for about an hour, hour and a half, and they're nice and crispy. They're chocolate hardened up. And I have two special guests today who are gonna come and be my taste testers. They're gonna come on over. Okay, this is my daughter, and this is our friend. Hi, everybody. And they are going to be my taste testers today. Now, my daughter has had this before, but our friend, it's her first time, okay? So this is what I'm going to do. You guys can see me, right? So we use the parchment paper, so I'm going to lift up the piece of parchment paper. I'm going to pick up a piece, and I'm going to break it. All right, here's a piece for you, miss. Here's a piece for you. What do we think?
Delicious.
Yeah? So what do you taste? Like, do you taste?
Tastes like Snickers.
All right, I'll take that.
It tastes salty.
Okay, so you taste a little bit of salty, a little bit of sweet, right? Huh, the best combination. You heard the truth. Here it is. Skore Bars for the win.